Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Is my mic on? Yes, it is. What's up? How's everybody doing? We're drawn. We're laying out some big pictures. I'm back on my Renaissance kick. Back to my old white whale of doing a Renaissance style Last Judgment, as those of you who have been following me for a while have seen me toy with on and off at various times. And I'm basically just saying hi today. Gonna go spending all of today with my ma'am, with Mama Zapata. She's moving away from New York, moving down to Florida. So we're saying goodbye today. But I still wanted to stream, say hello, check in, see how everybody's doing. Hello, Hainai, Anuj, Exidium, Octavio Sosa, Mental Break, Defines Man, Hainai, August, Kershaw, Kai, Fluet _ Unseen, Colleen Clark, Ivan Berdichevsky, Vivid Volpe, and AP. Hello, everybody. Hey, Zane. Hello, Rainola. Hi, Jose. Hello, Nick. Hello, Synth Lizard. Hello, Arctic Monkey. Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well today. I'm finally feeling healthy today. Not feeling sick anymore. Mouth sores are gone. Feeling good, feeling normal. And the weather is getting better in New York. It's gonna rain today, but it's mercifully cool compared to what it has been, which is wonderful. This piece looks angelic, divine already. Thank you. Well, I'm trying to do a weird Last Judgment. So I'm gonna play with a few layouts. We're gonna see what I like. This is a nut I've been trying to crack for a long time. I have a few white whale big pieces that I've been trying to crack for months/years. That is not my mom, don't need to answer that. I've always wanted to do a Renaissance style Last Judgment in the manner of Hieronymus Bosch or many, it's a classic genre, there's so many, but like Bosch or Michelangelo. I've also always wanted to do, I have two white whale pieces for Paradise Lost, big ones, that I've toyed with off and on many times on stream. That is Satan enthroned in Pandemonium and Christ enthroned in Paradise. So those pieces, what I just list, 5 or so, 4 pieces, I've always imagined being done in the classic Renaissance triptych style, just not actually a triptych, because I don't know, who knows, maybe you could do some trompe l'oeil stuff, but I never thought of actually like pretending to divide it into a triptych when it's digital. But doing it wide, doing it, breaking all the rules of current compositional trends, bad thumbnail, bad read, all about annoying little details, people out of proportion so their heads read better than their bodies, like all the stuff that I love about those old paintings, all those idiosyncrasies. I've been trying to crack that nut for a long time. I'm back on it. I'm back up against my Moby Dick. Who knows if I'll crack the nut this time? I just have faith that if I do it a lot, I'll eventually find the way that I want to do it. But it's pretty difficult because that's a hard enough style to nail on its own. And then when you add on top of that I want it to be a little unusual, you know, I want to psychedelic it up a little bit, tough nut to crack. But as I've said many times on this channel and these streams, patience is key, and I try to practice what I preach, so I just don't feel a rush to figure it out. I just have faith that if I keep returning to it over and over again, one day I'll figure it out. And I might as well do it that way because I have the luxury of doing it that way. Happy to have you here, Fluency. Glad you caught a stream. I'm gonna do sketches, you know, probably over the next few streams or something like that. I did this one yesterday, so this one has a more, well, it's not a complete idea, but you get an idea for what the picture would be. I'm playing with / stealing some archetypal ideas that many Renaissance artists have done in these. So Christ up top makes sense to me. His magical court of apostles, mother and father, all surrounding him, angels and stuff like that floating around. He's on some sort of a rainbow, which symbolizes the universe. He has his classic hand gestures like Pantocrator and things like that, which have a very interesting and long art history. Hell is opening up, people coming out of their graves. I swiped this one from, I believe, an Hieronymus Bosch. His gate of, there's a painting he did where his gate of hell is actually the mouth of Leviathan, which I thought was so cool and builds a more interesting contrast between the gate of heaven being an actual architectural structure and the gate of hell being the mouth of a beast. I really like that. But I'm not satisfied with this, mostly because I didn't plan early enough for what to do in these spaces. I'll come back and try to add more interesting things, but I think I want people being like carted off by demons and things like that. Of course, you've got, well, I don't know who this is in the classic canon. I should do better research, but I've always imagined this is Archangel Michael doing the judging. So we've got Michael with his flaming sword, making sure that, well, I'm sure Christ is the one doing the actual judging, but making sure that nobody tries to go against what Christ says. So different versions of Archangel Michael in all of these sketches, I'm sure. And yeah, I want more beasties carrying people off and freaking people out, and I need to find more moments. You know, you look at Bosch and things like that. He always has moments. Every little part of the canvas has a particular moment, you know, the particular struggle of this character versus a demon or something like that. Little jokes in there. So huge, less a painting challenge, more a drawing challenge. These paintings tend not to be exceptionally good paintings. They become a little paint by numbers, and I'm not Sargent, so I'm not going to break that trend. I don't believe it's, I like to do color early for stuff like this, just so, because I find working in color makes it easier for me to make lighting and value distinctions for stuff like this. But it's really more of a drawing challenge. It's really more of a drawing and rendering challenge, you know, doing all of the figures, doing all of the moments, just a very heavy lift drawing wise. And I would not, these sketches, I would not work directly into these. Like this sketch of Michael here would not become, like, I don't think I would just paint that further and try to finish that. I don't think that would work, actually. I think that I would do a method like this to get the idea, but then when it's time to finish, at least I feel, maybe another artist could do different, but you'd be shooting yourself in the foot trying to do it all mushy. It would make the time scale recede really crazily. You'd just go in and trace everything and get a clean line drawing, and then do it with, go in with flat colors and really do it layered out and all that. If you want to get the look of those old paintings. Hello, Hamureto. Hello, Alejandro. Hello, Blue Bean. Hello, Joseph, my dear, dear Joseph. So let's leave this one, because this one, I get the idea, and it's mostly fixing already. You know, I need to add more figures flying through the sky and things like that. Let's poke at this one a bit more. Just do this for a bit, get our art in today. I do love getting my art in. Got a fun day off with my mom planned, but just love my drawing too much. Gotta keep drawing. So we're gonna be rescaling all of this pretty aggressively as we go. So maybe for this one we can get Leviathan's gaping maw more up high. Victor very wisely says, don't forget to hit the like button so others can join. You know, I'm very bad at marketing. So I need people like Victor to do the analytics and promotion stuff for me. You know, I'm just too bohemian. Too much of a bohemian true artist. I refuse to make my life easy. Play by YouTube's rules. You sound happy today, Steven. I'm a happy boy in general. If you ever hear me on stream not sounding happy, it's just because I feel bad for all of the sad chumps out there. I don't want them to feel bad. I don't want them to look upon my happiness and be like, man, why don't I have that? I'm a very happy boy. I have an extremely good life, and I do my best not to take it for granted. And when I say I do my best not to take it for granted, I mean that on as many days as possible, I try to literally carve out 10 to 20 minutes a day to sit in silence and literally just sit there and appreciate how great my life is. It should probably be more, considering how good my life is. But you know how it is in the modern era. Even 10 to 20 minutes of silence a day is kind of hard to get into the schedule. Or at least we tell ourselves it is. We tell ourselves that the world really needs our nervous control. And if we were to take 20 minutes for ourselves to sit in silence, everything would start falling apart. We all tell ourselves that. Sorry for the dings today, guys, but I gotta make sure I don't miss my mom. I'm a copywriter with a marketing... I don't know why I'm talking like that. I'm a copywriter with a marketing background. It shows, Victor. It truly shows. So I don't know why sometimes my computer has been running troubled and then other times it runs... Like, this file is huge. This file is 15,000 pixels across. I'm streaming, but I'm getting no lag. Everything's responsive today. There's no explaining the whims of Photoshop, I'll tell you that. Do you always work from loose to detail? Not necessarily. It's good practice in general, but I would be lying if I said that I always did it because I'm like a very disciplined artist or something like that. A lot of my pencil drawings, a lot of the ones that I finish, I actually wind up starting them by detailing one little area, and then I branch out from there. I'll do like one little area to start. That's like the only thing on the paper, like a deltoid or some piece of anatomy or something like that. And I'll feel good about that. That'll like lock me in. I'll be like, I can make the whole rest of the picture just because that moment makes it worth it. And then I will go plan the rest of the picture in a loose to detail manner. But the first thing I did is like a fully finished spot that I really don't need to work on anymore. A lot of my pencil drawings seem to go that way. Let me look for that one that I saw that has Leviathan in it. Yeah, it was not a Bosch. It was another one. Should have saved the names on these ones when I was pulling them off Google Images. Oh, that's an awesome one. Damn, look at this one. How cool is that? Jesus. Yeah, I gotta leave more room for people coming out of the ground for this one. Anyone know who did this one? What an awesome painting. So dope. Love the biblically accurate seraphs and cherubs up there. It won't pop up on ArtStation front page. Yeah, it wouldn't. It'd be like, there's no moment that makes a good strong square thumbnail. It doesn't read 1 inch across on Instagram, so nobody cares, right? ArtStation went belly up, huh? You get I'm not saying there's not good artists on there. Like when a great artist posts, it's just great art. There's no getting around that. But in general, it really, the vibe changed on ArtStation, huh? It's just like, well, I'm sure you guys all love it because your taste is awful, but I hate it. I mean, it's just, everything looks the same. It's all just a pretty girl's face with her boobs out, cropped just right for the square thumbnail. Same colors, nothing special. Get you a job on a slot machine game. It's a total bummer. You know, that was really the only site we had. Now it's dead in the water. You should do an ArtStation front page review. It would be very entertaining. Very entertaining and cruel, I think. I would, as entertaining as I can acknowledge that would be. Oh, we'd have a good time. I think it'd be too just... I don't think the art world needs negativity like that or anything. It's like, if I would only do it to review it positively, and then it's like, you all know those pictures are great. Like, you don't need me to tell you that those pictures are great. Steven, any tips about how to paint skin like a master? You'd have to ask a master that. You would have to ask a master. If I could say a couple things that have helped me, keep it low contrast for the most part. Human skin, if you actually look at your real skin, not camera, because camera changes everything, right? Look at your real skin in a room. In most lighting situations, unless you're in a very dramatic lighting situation, the value difference between a light part of your skin and a dark part of your skin is not as much as you think it is, right? If you squint, the shapes all blur together and there's a very subtle transition. And that's because skin is, it's reflective, it has a lot of specular, which washes over everything and it lightens everything up. There's also subsurface scattering going on in the skin, so light penetrates into it, bounces around, becomes more saturated. When things become more saturated, the human brain interprets them as being lighter because of the Herzog-Kushov effect. And then it bounces out from different parts of the skin, more saturated and thereby appearing lighter, and also literally it's light. So the shadows tend to get internally lit by the subsurface scattering. So there's effects that are making things that should be darker lighter. There's effects that are making things that should be lighter darker. And that produces a generally low contrast feel on flesh. How do you spell that? What's the effect? I forget the name of the actual effect. People who have taken people who are informed from imagination, go to the design theory module, the designing form module. Watch transition to color. Get the in there. I write the actual name of the effect. Please, somebody who's taking form from imagination, copy paste it for people so they can look it up. Or be stingy with all of the glorious information and form from imagination and refuse to tell them because you want to keep your secrets to yourself, which I don't advise. Just give it all away. Yep, Travis got it. Helmholtz-Kohl-Rausch effect. As I understand, if you're doing an advanced design project, you should write it first as a story. But how would you approach writing if you are designing something outside of a narrative? You can't design anything outside of a narrative. I mean, even if... Why does a chair look like a chair? You know, can you show me an abstract chair? Can you remove chair from narrative? Every chair you have ever seen is the product of an infinity of conditioning factors. That is to say, narrative. Even the blandest chair is bland in a particular way. It cannot be abstractly bland. It needs to be particularly bland. So it is bland in such a way that it can be cheap because it has a target demographic of people who can't pay that much for a chair. Or it needs to be bland in the sense that it is easily manufactured with the kinds of tools that are available in that cultural and geopolitical era. So there is nothing that can be designed outside of narrative. Every car, every mug, every color that could be used, every machine line, every crease, everything exists within the context of narrative. So narrative in heavy air quotes. So no, maybe you're not going to need to write about a character or the way that that character interacts with it or something like that. But you must understand the part that you would need to write on something that is separated from plot and character is you would need to understand why the heck does this thing look the way it does. And that is what informs your design. Do you read any academic subjects outside of art? No, I'm not an academic. I'm an artist through and through. I read like philosophy and stuff like that, but I read it all secondhand. Like I don't go read Plato, you know, I read people who have analyzed Plato and such. I ain't got time to be digging through the Republic or whatever it is. I read secondary sources on things like philosophy and science and things like that. I don't do any actual academic reading or consumption. Have you seen Angel's Egg? I really just want to talk about anime again. Sorry, I'm hopeless. Also, Yoshitaka Mono Design. I've seen stills from it. I've never watched it. I've seen it brought up many times on like analyses and things like that. What's your favorite reference search website? I just use Google. It's not about a particular website. It's about your Google foo. It's about how good you are at being creative about finding or making the reference that you need. I like the websites of museums and things like that. I try to use that as much as possible because, you know, I think it's kind of laughable to say, but I think it's true. Artists of our era, like us, people who draw and stuff like that, we're really sleeping on museums. Like, you guys got to get to some museums. The great thing about museums for reference, for visiting, is that it's people's whole job to curate things. You know, they already curate it, and they already have like the most sophisticated thoughts about things as a curator can manage, right? So museum websites are really great for research because they connect things for you. They say this is like this era, you've never heard that word before, you go Google that word, it's great. Do you know Andrew Wyeth? If so, what do you think of their work? I like the Wyeths a lot. I was just at the, I went to the Andrew Wyeth big retrospective show at the Brandywine Museum down in Pennsylvania a few years ago. It was one of the best shows I've ever seen. The Brandywine Museum is awesome in general. I went down there specifically to see it. I think the Wyeths are I don't know, probably the last or only American art dynasty. Good stuff. I don't follow like Jamie or anything like that, but Andrew Wyeth and NC Wyeth stuff are classics at this point. I should have done these guys on their own layer because they're out of scale. Hey Mel. How you doing, Steven? The picture's looking so dope, man. What's next to add in the form course? I have a part 2 of the perspective crash course for the cube that I added last week. I have a part 2 for that. That'll be the next thing that I add. I already like prepared the demo. I just need to record the actual click through of it and the demonstration of it. It's just the first part I explained all of the how you actually do technical plotting and all of that, but the second part is just an actual demo of a complex object. Here, I can show it to you. It's not complex, obvious, not actually complex, but if you actually need to plot the shadows, you bet your ass it's complex. This guy. That'll be the next thing I add. With perspective plotting, things only need to get a little bit more complicated before the complexity of the plotting explodes. It's not a linear progression. It's like things are easy with simple cubes, and then you add a couple things, and now you would never do this. That's how it goes with perspective. But I want the course to be exhaustively exhaustive. I guess you just say I want it to be exhaustive, so I'm going to cover it. Today I was watching your older video streams and I was wondering when you'll be streaming again, and here it is. Here it is. Yeah, I'm doing it a lot these days. I'm around. I want to tell you, Steven, you make the stuff that may seem rigorous very fun. It is fun. It's not fun. It's definitely fun. I like the rigorous stuff. It's like a fun little drawing puzzle, you know? It's fun if you get to do it for its own sake, you know? Which is really, these days, that's why you do it. You know, you don't really ever need to do that on a job or anything like that. Or it's very rare. Or you only do a tiny little part of it just to get the info that you need. The only technical plotting that I tend to do over and over, not over and over, but like when I do technical plotting, what it is 95% of the time is just I reverse engineer the station point, and then I use that to know the cone of vision and to get rotations so that I have multiple 90-degree boxes that are sitting on the same ground plane. That's actually very quick, and it just helps a picture along so much if it's got, you know, rectilinear forms in it like that. I don't always do perspective plotting, but when I do, it's that 99% of the time. If the Leviathan was going to be that big, as opposed to being like just a head, like it is in that sketch, I'd probably have to design it separate. Can you draw over fixative? Only workable fixative. I've tried it a couple times, but maybe I just did it wrong, but when I tried it, it made the surface feel kind of dusty, and I didn't like that. I don't fix my drawings. I leave them raw. They're graphite, so, I mean, they smudge, but only slightly. You know, the graphite tends to stay in place. And I don't know, I don't trust fixative, you know? I feel like I'd rather let the drawing get a little smudged rather than risk it with some sort of non-archival fixative or something like that. A religious theme, interesting. I love religious art. I mean, I was raised Catholic, so I got exposed to good old Catholic art. And the Renaissance and all that are my biggest influences, so. I would say it's actually expected, not interested. I mean, you've probably seen my Paradise stuff. My Paradise Lost stuff, right? It's all that. It's all religious. Who's your favorite Renaissance artist? Michelangelo. I mean, there's no messing with the best. He was just singular. Absolutely singular. Aren't you marvelous? What about Van Gogh? What, you trying to compare Van Gogh to Michelangelo? That's delusional. Don't even go there. Don't even go there. You're in the wrong place for that. Do not try to compare Van Gogh to Michelangelo. I'll have a total freak out on you. Van Gogh's great. I went to the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam when I was there. Was it the Van Gogh Museum? Yeah. Hello, Brody. Speaking of Van Gogh, what do you think of older forms of Japanese art? I mean, I'm not like influenced by them really, but I think they're great. I'm a big fan of Hiroshi Yoshida. I'm not sure what movement you would say he is, but he's been a favorite for a long time. He's some of the only original art I bought. I bought one of his prints, pretty expensive, at a fine arts print show in LA years and years ago. When I say pretty expensive, I mean pretty expensive for me. I only bought it because I found one that was damaged. That was the only one I could hope to afford. You can't get his stuff for... You can't really get his stuff for cheap. It was expensive for me. It was a cheap Hiroshi Yoshida. I'm seeing it right now. It's right on the opposite wall. I got in a nice frame. What do you think of the band Steely Dan? They're alright. My wife really likes that hit of theirs, Reelin' in the Years. Are you reeling in the years? Putting away the time. Not my cup of tea, really. But certainly a good band. Maybe we'll do a bunch of coffins like that one painting we looked at. Goof, what a drawing challenge. Doing all those coffins. People coming out of them. It'd be real, real, real. Things that pass for knowledge I can't understand. Are you reeling in the years? Putting away the time. Now the Renaissance examples tend to have like a real rustic background. You could see some mountains going off in the distance, a plain. You can do like a Frederick Church kind of a thing or something like that. Just because I don't know if I want to do just like a, you know, a green pastoral, you know, maybe something a little less bucolic, maybe a little bit more moody. Maybe like a John Martin print kind of a background. Not Frederick Church, maybe like a Caspar David Friedrich. I'm just pulling them up in some tabs. John Martin. It's like if I could think of something like, sometimes I do this when I need to have an eye. Oh God, not almost. Yeah, John Martin art. Don't show me this shirtless singer. Sometimes when I'm trying to get something into my brain, I'll just open up, or I'm trying to think of a mix, I'll just open up 2 Google searches like this and just stare across all the thumbnails. Try to imagine what the what a combo would be. Hi, Steven. Quick question. Do you know the secret of the arts? Do I know the secret of the arts? Do I know the secret of the arts, Pedro? You're coming in here, you're asking me, do I know the secret of the arts? Have you been paying attention? You've been listening here? Have you been seeing the work? Have you been saying the way that I can't be stumped? The way I got to answer for every question? The way these paintings and shapes just fly off the tip of the brush, stylus, pencil, whatever. If anyone has the secret of the arts, it's your boy Steven. Pedro. We've been through it. This ain't my first rodeo. I've had my experience of art kensho. Now I speak the Dharma intuitively. There's nothing left, only to help others. Oof, that's a cool one. Damn. It's a nice little painting right there. That's a nice little painting right there. Yeah. I think John Martin did a Last Judgment, didn't he? I remember it being rather, if I'm thinking of the right thing, I remember it being a little weird. Not in the cool way. It's just a little hard to read. All right, let's put that away. Let us put these away. Are the art of Abbot Henderson Thayer count as religious art? I mean, I think so. I mean, he didn't paint just angels. You know, I've seen some lovely still lifes by him. I saw one of my favorite landscapes I've ever seen is a Thayer. They have it in the visible storage at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. So it's not even like up in a gallery. It's like behind glass, just thrown around with other paintings. And it's like, I don't mean behind glass like the way you would see a presented painting. I mean like it's just in a glass case being stored with other paintings. And it's this low contrast, like sunset or morning shot of this big mountain with a tree line at the bottom. And it's low contrast. There's barely anything there. And there's just this blazing slash of orange paint from either sunrise or sunset hitting the top of the mountain. And that's one of the best paintings I've ever seen. There's multiple versions of it. I don't know if he ever turned it into a final. I think the one that I'm talking about right now at the Met is one of the studies, but I've never seen if he turned it into a final or anything like that. Max says, hey, Steven, I'm trying to break into the industry as a prompt engineer. Any tips? Get in while the getting's good. Start early. I'm seeing all of the channels that are doing like how to use Midjourney, best prompts for Midjourney. Like they're taking off. The algorithm's exploding them. They're getting tens of thousands of views and all that. It's like, it's cool. It's cool to see like a new thing happening, you know? It's exciting. It's like, because you can never guess. You can never guess what the next thing is going to be, what the next mode is going to be. And then you see that, and it's just like, it fits the mold, you know? You've seen it happen with all these other things, you know? Things you're familiar with, like how to paint or how to do Photoshop. Is just like a new version of that you never could have guessed. It's so cool. I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. Now, like I said, this is basically just me saying hello today, so I'm gonna have to run somewhere before 12 EST, because I gotta go hang with my mom. Say goodbye to my mom. Bye, Mom. Bye, Mom. But I just wanted to say hi, get a little bit of artwork in. Always important to make a little art. This painting you were doing looks so surreal, how it is. Yeah, I mean, even if I never do anything with them, they'll always be nice sketches, you know? Some of my favorite paintings from some of my favorite artists from history are, you know, this is almost a little too inside baseball, but, you know, when I think of a lot of my favorite paintings from looking through art history and learning about artists, they're studies for a painter's white whale. And a lot of them, they never got to it. You know, they never made the finish, but the studies were awesome, you know? And they tell you so much about how they're thinking and how they're grappling and like how much they really cared about the thing they were fighting with. And maybe that sounds a little weird because it's like, if I think about that too much, it starts to beg the question, like, am I serious about making this picture? Or am I just trying to like fake this process thing that I've loved from artists throughout history? And I don't know, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. It makes me feel very calm about the whole thing, you know? just like, even if you never get there, even if you never figure it out, it's like, you're in good company doing this kind of thing, you know? Some of the greatest artistic minds in history dashed their goodwill and fortune against a particular piece that they really wanted to crack, and they never quite cracked it, and they died before they got there. But the process is fascinating on their own, on its own. Good morning, Boxer Wing. Thank you for streaming so much, Steven. Hey, no problem. Has generally helped me get some nice drawing sessions, and that's what it's for, baby. It's the easiest act of service I could do. I get to just draw, be happy. Drawing is my favorite thing. And somehow, magically, by my own good fortune, I happen to be helping you guys when I do it. I mean, don't get much better than that, right? I love being able to provide something like that so joyfully. Don't like this light shape I got back here. Whoops. You know what, I won't go too crazy with doing like explosive geysers back here, because I'm gonna put some sort of, I need some sort of gate to heaven over here, so. When making large-scale pieces, how do you know where to include details and when to leave things rougher and looser? You don't know. And it depends on whose Kool-Aid you drink and what you like in art, you know? If, I mean, if you look at something like Bosch's Garden of Earthly Delight, which is undoubtedly one of the great masterpieces of art history and has probably launched more art careers than anything else, in the sense that it's one of the paintings that keeps coming up as like, I saw that and I knew I had to be an artist. It's an equal level of detail all over. You know, it'd be hard to argue otherwise. It doesn't have a great thumbnail. It doesn't read super clearly from far away. It breaks tons of those detail and compositional distribution rules, and you will never make a picture as influential as that. So it depends what you choose to believe for the most part. Because an art teacher at one of our places today, right? Like certainly if you were taking some class in like entertainment design or something like that, where they're teaching you how to make, you know, League of Legends splash art, if Hieronymus Bosch was in that class and submitted the sketch for the Garden of Earthly Delight, the stupid teacher would be like, this sucks. You're not paying attention in class. You're a shit artist. This is not how you compose something. And they'd make them redo it and, you know, have a single clear focal point and, you know, fall off of detail. And all they'd be doing is ruining it. They'd ruin it. They'd ruin it. So you have to follow your heart. You got to be definitive about what you like, what you believe in, and you got to remember always that none of this is real. It's just art. None of this is real. There's no rules. There's no nothing. Are you a religious person, Steven? No. I'm definitely not religious. I'm the classic boring archetype of a... I'm highly spiritual, but I'm not religious. I'm that guy. I'm as cringy as you could get. If he's not drawing an anime waifu, he's not a real artist. Are you familiar with Bekchinsky's work? Of course. Of course. Steven, is that to say you'd never really consciously know what the white whale piece is, and that's why you have to keep working? I mean, like, just to try to clarify what I said before, there's like a little click in the back of my head where I worry, like, maybe because I'm aware some of my favorite art is studies in this manner for white whale pieces by some of my favorite artists, I'm only inventing the desire to make these pieces so that I can do the studies. And if I knew, for example, that I was actually going to dedicate like the 6 months it would take to execute on one of them to finish, I would never do it, or I wouldn't be interested. I think that that's possible. On a deep level, I don't think that's actually true, because several of the white whale pieces are for projects that I've done a lot of other pieces for, finished, you know, Paradise Lost. So I think that kind of nullifies that that's actually what's going on. Like, I know I know it would be a shame to not get these dueling pieces that I envision for Paradise Lost of Satan enthroned in pandemonium and Jesus resplendent surrounded by the choir of adorers in heaven. I want those pieces. They're great moments. It'd be a shame to not have them. Everyone who's done Paradise Lost has those moments. So I think they are actually white whale pieces for me because I need them for the project, you know? What is your stance on having a stance? So lame. Stop feeling. It's very cringe to feel. So glad the weather's breaking a bit, man. Today's going to be the coolest day this week. It's going to get hotter again, but it looks like it's not going to get up to that. It was ridiculously hot for the past few weeks, man. It was absurd here in New York. Super, super hot. I mean, it was so hot it killed my sister's dog. Like, that's pretty hot. That's really effing hot. That is pretty effing hot. That's sad. All right, I can't think about that. Can't you see I'm trying to stream live to the internet? Will your dog get a role in Drawing Ascendant? No spoilers. Where's my snake? Oh, my snake. From a distance, your art today looks like a piece of jewelry. That's pretty cool. I'm down with that. Can't say I don't like that. Sounds good. I think I already like this second version better than my first version. It's just a tad more filled. I think I like the Michael in this version though. He looks a little bit more scary or just weird, off, you know? This one doesn't necessarily feel off. It's pretty straight down the barrel, this Michael. Can always change him though. I do like how long his flaming sword is. How long his flaming sword is! Holy, holy Thunder Force! Yeah, it's very hot. It's very, very hot. No lying, it's hot. There's just no denying that it's extremely warm in the world. I hope it doesn't come back. I hope we're done with summer here in New York. New York definitely has a bad tendency to, you get the huge heat wave and you're like, it's finally over. And then there's always one more right at the end of summer. I hope that doesn't happen. If I wind up doing a cathedral structure as the gates of heaven, I am not I ain't plotting it. I'm gonna give it to my wife to 3D model. Just give her the sketch. Have her give me a good base. Hello, Guanglord. How does your mind think about Photoshop layers when working on pieces this big with multiple elements? Right now, it doesn't. I'd just make a layer if I, in the moment, need to be over or under something. But I won't really think about layers proper unless I do a final version. When I do a final version for something this complicated, I'd break most of it out into layers. But right now, nothing. I'm just drawing. I just make, like I said, I just make a new layer if I'm like, damn it, why am I over that? I'm supposed to be under it. I'll make a new layer and go under the thing that's bothering me. That's it. If I get the course, is there a chance I become better than you? There's a chance. As I say in the infomercial for the course, if you experience being better than me, I highly recommend you call your doctor. Is your monitor 4K? I'm jealous. Yeah. This one that I'm drawing on is 4K. But the iMac monitor that is my main monitor, that's 5K. It's that Apple 5K. Tell you what, you get real used to it. It doesn't look like 5K though. It does. It's 5K for like the actual files you're working on and things like that. But the UI and everything, I keep set scaled up to look like 1440p just because, man, when you're actually using something at 5K, that's like really at 5K, all the buttons get teeny tiny. Really hard to see. How would I do all these guys? I don't think I want to do them as normal people. But that doesn't mean I have any idea what the alternative would be. Let's goof around for a minute. We're at, you know, that's a sketch, you know, I get the idea. It's not complete by any means. I'd need to fill it out much more with people and demons and moments, like I said, but that could be the overall composition. And I do like this one better because it's just more filled in these central areas. Well, it will be if I get demons, 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 demons. Like the Gate of Heaven takes up more space. Leviathan takes up more space. It feels a little bit more full than this one does right now. But we'll come back to this one and try to fill it up a bit more. To what extent do you have to work in digital for pro jobs today? Well, it depends on the job. But for most, not most, I'm going to say for entertainment design, you basically need digital at this point. And you'd want it. You wouldn't want to do it all traditional because doing revisions and doing a lot of notes, which didn't necessarily used to be the norm in the industries, now lots of notes are the norm. So you wouldn't want to be all traditional anyway. Those notes would make you crazy if you had to do them traditional. Who is better, Craig Mullins or Jamie Jones? It's a nonsense question. That's just two different types of being at the top of your game. They focus on different things, it seems to me. I won't attest to understanding what they think they're focusing on, but from the outside, it seems to me like they're clearly going for different effects, you know? Should be weirder than that. I'm being too regular, you know? I guess that's just because I'm focusing on overall composition. I haven't really had any distinct thoughts on what I want individual entities to look like or anything like that. Hello, Tobias. Giuseppe says, hi, Steven. Have you ever had a problem with focus? Yeah, just like anybody. I mean, I can always kind of bring it back around, but yeah, you know, I've had my spells with procrastination and things like that, but, you know, you also gotta, it's just like, sometimes you just really need a break, you know? Let yourself rest. What AI support function would you like to see in Photoshop? Well, I think Photoshop will it will eventually be basically a conversation you have with AI. I've actually thought that for years and years. I remember talking about that back in college with people. I can't remember if I brought it up in that conversation or if someone else did, but after I had that conversation in college, for years, that conversation rang true, and I was like, that's definitely going to happen. That's definitely where it'll go. So I think eventually Photoshop will just be, you won't do much. You'll have the document open in front of you, and you'll just basically talk to Siri, and you'll say, I'm not saying for painting, I'm saying, Adobe doesn't care that people paint in Photoshop. They care about its photo functions. It just so happens that you can paint in it. So I mean, my guess is that they will redesign it for photo editors so that they're basically just having a conversation with Siri for all intents and purposes. And you just tell Photoshop, make the background red. All right, select the subject. No, you did a little bit too much. Contract it by like 3. Okay, now let's take out the yellow. Too much, back 50%. Let's add more red. Can we bring in something from Adobe stock? Can we get a couple of these kinds of flowers maybe in the foreground? Yeah, that's all right. Give me a different shape, different shape, different shape. That's good. Can we put a Gaussian blur on that on the foreground so it looks like where we got a little bit of a depth of field going on? That's good. All right, let's do some curves. Can you just maybe roll off of the highlights a little bit more naturally, like it was shot on an Alexa Mini shooting in log? Could you do it like that? Done. All right, it's good. Put that out as every different size of JPEG, and we're good to go here, right? I think that's what the Photoshop experience will become eventually. You won't really do much. You'll just kind of guide Photoshop. And it's obvious that's possible because even these current baby AIs are already language-based, right? It just so happens that you're typing to them, but once everything's fast enough, we know Siri understands you, like just talk to her, right? Yeah, it's very futuristic, quote unquote, but it's like, yeah, it's AI, we're living in it, You're telling computers what pictures to make, like it's gonna get like that. I don't know. I think it's inevitable that Photoshop will wind up like that. And I think very quickly the idea of you like using an app, I think that's probably gonna disappear in a lot of context. A lot of context. I feel like a lot of apps are gonna go that way. Like even Excel, like you'll just tell Excel, like bring in everything from table B from this database, make a sum column for that, make a division column for this, have that automatically generate monthly reports on costs and expenses. All right, we're good here, right? Like there's no reason that you need to like do that to do that stuff. I'm just going to start saying goodbye now because my mom will probably be here at any moment within the next 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm just going to paint until she shows up, and then I'll hop off rather suddenly. But I will say goodbye to you guys now so you don't think I'm being rude. Thanks for drawing today. Thanks for hanging out. It was fun to sneak in a little bit of drawing before I take the rest of the day off. This one's clearly got a book of judgment, so maybe this is supposed to be like Peter or something like that. But he would be at the gates, right? Yeah, he doesn't have to be. Why do we pretend all that stuff is set in stone? Like, we actually know what happens. It's just the typical language of these sorts of things. It's not real. You can change it. Iho, you can't say that. Iho, please. Iho, we know what the end of the world will be like, and it will be very human. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone. Like I said, I'm going to keep going until she shows up. Read a book, Iho. You cannot say those things, Iho. Read a book. I think I know what book you're talking about, Mom. I think you're talking about a very specific book. Oh man, it hadn't even occurred to me. I gotta show this to my mom later today. She's gonna get a kick out of this. She loves whenever I do anything religious. She's gonna love this. Do you think DALL-E 2 and similar are doing something akin to what the brain does during dreaming? I get that feeling because the artifacts and style of these images remind me of my lucid dreams. I wouldn't be surprised, personally. I don't know. No one knows. But no one really knows. We don't even really understand what we're doing when we're dreaming. So definitely no one knows. But, you know, off of my uninformed opinion is I wouldn't be surprised. I think I'm I think there's probably many overlaps. You know, whatever our method of cognition is, whatever the nature of consciousness is, it does seem to abide by a system, you know? So, it's a system. And that means it can be, it can occur elsewhere. You can create a similar kind of system elsewhere, whether by accident or design. I'm not making an ontological claim there about the nature of consciousness. I'm just saying it shouldn't be... It seems weird to think it's impossible that the machine would be doing the dreaming part of our system in a very similar way or something like that, because it's just a part. And it's either similar or it isn't, you know? Even if it's hell-centric, yeah. My mom digs it even if it's hell-centric. She just likes the themes, you know? I do too. Clearly. Yeah, you could do something up there in that gallery and have it read. Your mother has excellent taste. Yes, she does. I feel she's so lucky, you know? Isn't she lucky? Like, every mom has to love their kid's art. How lucky is she that my art is actually bomb? I mean, good for her, right? It's like she doesn't have to fake it. It's actually good. Gonna have the coolest fridge in town. That's right. No, come on. Why is my throat feeling sore? I thought I was over this. I thought we were done with this. Nah, stupid. Holy, my PC would blow up at that resolution. Yeah, we're working pretty big here. I was saying earlier on stream, I don't know why sometimes when I'm streaming, my computer's like, I can barely handle it. And then other times, I'll be working at these huge resolutions and I'll get 0 slowdown. I can't account for the difference. I don't know why. Whoops. Let me get that stupid color out there. Let's just keep working in black and white. You guys are really cool for hanging out. Just want you to know. It's pretty crazy to live in an era where you could just like boot up a little stream right from your house, do a little drawing, do a little chatting, other people join you. You know, there's 180 people in here right now. Probably most of them are drawing at the same time. Even though we're all quote unquote on our own, we know, hey, there's other people making art. You're supposed to make art. It's like, it's a very, very fortunate thing. Great time to be alive. Very, very cool. And obviously I'm very humbled that you guys would spend your time in my little stream here, making art with me. Very weird. What a time, what a time. Whoops, probably everything on that layer, right? Christ is looking swole. He's coming down like, notice anything different? Last time you saw me, I was on the cross. A little skinny. We got a great gym up in heaven. Surprise. You ever seen these guys? The Beasts of Abaddon? You're gonna love them. You sure we're doing a lot of heresy while I was gone? These Beasts of Abaddon are gonna have fun. No, don't worry about them. Just giant locusts with the face of women, long, flowing, blonde hair. They wear armor and they have scorpion stingers. You're gonna get to know them real well. Well, one of my ears just started ringing. You ever have that happen? You get like suddenly your ear balances out and then you get the ring for a bit. Every time that happens, I stop listening just to be like, is this the one? Is this the permanent one? Do I just have permanent tinnitus now? I always get scared. I have to listen to it fade away. Do gestures have to be at odds with structure? No. They should be in union with structure. You should do your best that they not be at odds with each other. Steven, what's your favorite book of all time? Fantasy? Genre fantasy? It's probably Song of Ice and Fire. Song of Ice and Fire series. It sucks to say that about a series that's unfinished, but that's what I liked. It's that, or it's the two unfinished ones. It's Song of Ice and Fire and Kingkiller Chronicle. Maybe I just like them because of the allure that they're unfinished, you know? There's so much possibility. Is that Michael or Lucifer before him? Michael. Could be Lucifer. Who knows? There's no rules. Could be all sorts of stuff. But I was thinking Michael. It's the usual symbol here. Palm branch or an olive branch. And a sword in the other. Yeah, I saw the Better Call Saul finale last night. Pretty good, man. No spoilers, but I thought they stuck the landing. I felt good about it. Very rare to see anybody stick the landing these days. It was a great show. They did great. That's what me and my wife kept saying after it was over. We were just kind of walking around, getting ready for it. We're just like, they did great. They did great. Whoa, that doesn't look the way I want. Love the way this is looking. Thank you. Didn't they announce more BB content too? I don't know. I haven't heard that. It's crazy to me how you just go straight into the form like that. I mean, that's just time and experience. Just at a certain point, that's just being laughably familiar with all your old moves. Do you have some art on Rule 34, says Dragonfruit? I do not. What a shame. I'm sure I could make some very interesting contributions to how Lovecraftian monstrosities copulate. I totally ship Cthulhu and Nyarlathotep. I totally ship a Shoggoth and the color out of space. Stephen, what kind of features and choices other than shading can you apply to make art go from cartoony to semi-real looking, other than shading? I think like non-iconic shapes, you know, even if you don't do rendering, doing unexpected shapes that still feel like the subject, that will make something feel more realistic. Like, you know, when you cartoon, you're always going to do like, this is a hand, right? You know what I mean. Obviously, not all cartoons look like that, but you're always going to do like an iconic shape where everything reads on the silhouette. Where when you're drawing realistically, you know that a hand could actually be that shape, right? That's the shape of a hand. That's totally useless in a cartoon, because a cartoon just is only going to use the most iconic platonic shapes for something. But in realistic drawing, where you know you're going to have the full coterie of the elements of design, you know that that can be the shape of a hand, because it's just that it's foreshortened and all of the fingers are coming at you this way, and the thumb is over here, and the top and the bottom is made up of the palm and the top and the back of the hand. Knuckles are there, something like that. So using those more unexpected shapes that you really only find from looking at life, I think if you do that, even if it's totally flat and has bold lines and things like that, I think that would give it a more realistic feel, no matter what. No problem, Nick. Song request, Stairway to Heaven. I don't remember the words to Stairway. Yeah, I don't remember any of this at all. It's like I'm reading it for the first time. I'll listen to it sometime soon. I guess this acknowledges then that reality is often unflattering and unoptimal as opposed to stylized, idealized, and posed in just the right way. That makes a lot of sense. Well, I'd be careful about thinking of it as unoptimal because they just achieve different ends, you know? It's not that it's unoptimal. It's optimal if what you're going for is feelings of veracity and subtlety and verisimilitude. And if those are the emotions that you want out of your art, then those shapes are optimal. And the more obvious shapes are going to make your picture drift away from feelings of insight, of observation. You know, the more cartoonish shapes, they're highly functional, and they can still make beautiful art, of course, but they rarely reek of insight. Whereas when you look at a really masterful painting by with really good insightful shapes, think like a Jenny Saville or like a Lucian Freud, who like really hunted for those shapes as they appear in life, you can't quite get that, you know? So it's not that it's unoptimal. It's just about different things that you would be looking for. Making those lifelike, strange, unexpected shapes feel good, feel right, and feel balanced, that produces that feeling that a piece is like gorgeously observed, very insightful, you know? It's also very useful to understand if you want to paint from your imagination, because if you know that's what life really looks like, you got to kind of always be like trying to make up those shapes for yourself. As you saw, I could do it, you know? Thoughts on Jim Carrey? I don't have many thoughts. I haven't been keeping up with what he's doing. And there's a wind on down the road. Our shadows taller than our souls. And there walks a lady we all know. That's all I remember of Stairway to Heaven. Is that a dragon on the far right? Looks awesome. That is, yeah, basically. It's Leviathan, whose mouth will be the gate of hell in this picture. Leviathan, who God of all his creations made largest of all. Hello, Steven. Have you ever made or would you ever consider making a massive physical version of a piece like this? Murals ever interest you? Looking epic, by the way. Not murals, but I'm definitely interested in doing something like this as an oil painting or something like that. I'm working on it. I'm getting back into painting. I've been painting a little bit this week. Will you stream some oil painting? Yeah, if I get into something pretty serious, I will, yeah. I'm down to stream anything I do, if it's at all possible. Advice for upcoming concept artists in these times with all the crazy tech around us growing. If you got to know what your joy actually is. Like, is your joy actually drawing and painting? And you just want to be a concept artist because it's the only job you could think of that would let you draw and paint? Or is your joy making other people's ideas come to life and working on teams and working on big projects and being associated with projects? You've got to get really honest with yourself about which is your actual joy. If it's the first option, if it's that you actually just love drawing and painting and you want to be a concept artist because that's the only job you could find that would let you draw and paint, you're probably in big trouble. That's what my gut tells me. And I would prepare yourself now to be adaptable. If your joy is the second option, working with teams, making the product, it's less that you want to work in video games because you'd get to draw and paint. It's more, I fucking love video games and I want to work on video games / movies, whatever. Then you're going to be fine. Just be ready to be adaptable. Just be ready to dump whatever tool doesn't work. All right, everybody. That's my mom. Like I said, I'm going to have to run suddenly, so I'm going to cut out. Thanks everyone for being here. I said goodbye earlier, so I'm not being rude. Peace everyone. Take care.